What's going on, world? Hope all is well. Much love. Sitting down with my guy, Cohen Cosby III, aka better known as Cosby Digital. What's good, Slim?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you having me. Um, hey man, I'm ready to get into it.
This gonna be a quick conversation because you into so many different things. It's like shit. I'm trying to think of where to start, where to go, where to transition. But this gonna be easy. We gonna start with the marketing piece because um, through Fog Hill. Shout out to Fog Hill, the fastest growing facilities maintenance company in the DMV.
Shout
Shout
out
out to Fog
Foggy.
Hill. Um, through Fog Hill, I've been able to connect with you as a business partner and really see where your marketing expertise is. So let's go in the marketing lane first. How in the hell does a young black man from uptown DC get into marketing?
So, honestly, I got into it. I'm thinking of what my origin story would be, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
always been a creative person, not in the sense of like making music or something like that, but just being able to highlight the things that are going on in the community, right? I've always felt that way. By
Mm-hmm.
the time I got to college, I used to throw the house parties.
Okay.
So, coming from a party background, you have to know how to market. You got to make flyers, you got to text people, you got to call people, got to let people know what you're doing. So I used to
Mm-hmm.
throw good house parties. Then fast forward when I moved back to DC from Houston, Texas, which
Okay.
also informed how I got into partying because I went to school for journalism psychology, right? And the two actually match a lot more than what people think, right? Your ability to communicate with people
Mm-hmm.
for marketing is key. Can you have a clear message, right? So if I'm a communications major and the psychology of marketing, the psychology of selling, we've both been in sales, so there's a
Right.
whole psychology background to sales. So having those principles and understanding that definitely helped me. Like on my first like my internship, I was doing marketing and social media for record companies. I work with what the hell is this? Damn. Oh, damn, what is these people's names? That is wild. I forgot. But it's a record company in Houston. Um
And Houston?
in Houston. Yeah, so I went to Texas Southern University. Shout out to
Okay.
TSU. I'm a real third ward.
Shout out to
Represent.
TSU.
Go DJs. I work for the Go DJs.
Got you.
Um
Okay.
So that's shout out DJ High C, OG Ron C, chopped up, not slopped up. I
Uh-oh.
work with
Ron C.
I
Uh-oh.
work with those guys. So
Okay.
that was my college internship, working with them in
Ah.
marketing. One of my jobs, I used to go to the strip club with artists, like take them around.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was back in the day where artists had to still have to come see DJs that premiere their songs. They used to do DJ record pools. So I met a lot of artists. I met like Maya, PD Pablo, Rick Ross. Met a whole lot of artists.
And this is in college.
Yeah, well, I'm still in college. They used to have to
Got you.
come to either the studio or the house where all the DJs, the
Mm-hmm.
DJ OG had a house.
Mm-hmm.
OG Ron C was in there and DJ High C was in there. And the artists would come to the house to drop off their new records, to do their drops, all the stuff you had to do in the music business.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
So I got a great understanding about like guerrilla marketing, working with them. Cause shout out to OG Ron C. He had his whole system set up in the house where you burning, printing all the CDs, studio. He had the old operation right there, so he can record, print out the CDs, put it on the street on his time. So that let me understand like that guerrilla marketing piece working with them.
Got you. And I hear you saying guerrilla marketing. What does guerrilla marketing mean from your perspective?
Bringing it straight to the people, no middleman. If I learned from being in the South, especially Houston, they are hustlers. It's guerrilla marketing. It's out the trunk.
Yeah.
Like, and I was in Houston in like I guess quote unquote the music golden era. Like when I touched campus, Still Tipping came out.
Oh man.
This is 04, 05. Still Tipping,
man.
Right?
Right.
Mike Jones, Ice Age, that's out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is the Paul Wall is
281 334.
That's out. Next, he had the next tail. Like he used to
Right.
be on our campus. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then my affiliation with the DJs came across these guys all the time. Strip club marketing. That's the first time I realized how important the strip club was to music culture. Shout out to DJ J Bone. J Bone taught me about a strip club.
Okay.
Like they break the records in the strip clubs. If the dancer's not dancing to it, it most likely is not going to get mainstream play.
So real quick, touching on that, right? Being from DC,
yeah,
going down south and really, you know what I'm saying, like making your bones with marketing. I want to touch on the strip club part.
Yeah.
Is there a difference, a noticeable difference with how strip clubs are used down south compared to the DMV?
Oh, absolutely. It's much more like interactive, much more commerce going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like up here, we wasn't like eating in the strip club. Like
right.
Down there, it's for real. You're gonna happy hour, you're gonna eat wings, you're gonna have a good time. You might be there from like 5 to 1. Like we weren't doing that.
Right.
Like
we hit Foxy's off Georgia
Ave. Would be a product of how Southern strip clubs work, right? How
because they took that business model
where you can get like some gourmet type of food. You felt comfortable eating.
You can sit down, eat with a stripper.
Yeah, you can do that. So that was their culture, and it's like that after hours culture. DC didn't have an after hours culture. They have a after hours strip club culture.
So what do you mean? Like, so us partying here till 3, 4 in the morning, 2, 3, 4 in the morning isn't the same type of after hours culture you would say?
Because that's like if the club is open till 3 and then you go right home after that, that's no after hours, right?
You talking about after the party?
They're more strict in the South on what time things close.
They definitely are.
Close at 1:30. It's closed at 1:30.
Right.
Last call is 1:40. It's over. But people still ready to party. That's why they're going out after the eat culture, the Waffle House, that shit is way more prevalent. If you was in Ibiza or Love till 3:30 in the morning, you're not trying to find them. You're going straight home. You're not trying.
You might hear IHOP or something.
You might, but if it was a good night, you
especially in Ibiza. Oh my goodness, had some nights in Ibiza.
You going home for the most part,
right?
But if it's over at 1:30, like we were coming out at 1:00, and then we have go-go culture. So go-go at times made their own rules and times what times they opened,
right? And so I guess that's what I'm hinting towards and speaking towards more. But continue to speak on the difference between the party go-go culture of the DMV versus
the
down
South.
south.
Is definitely more strict in terms of what time things open and close. Because it's the South, it's the Bible Belt. They like to maintain more of an appearance than like New York or DC, Philly, Baltimore. Like where after hours is more like it's way bigger. Like even and then us having a especially at that point a much bigger Caribbean population. Where they are used to partying 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, they
it's
go.
Like we've all gone out with our Caribbean or African friends. The party don't start till 2. We might leave the club
right,
and then go to their party at 2 and stay till like 4 or 5.
Right.
So
island house party's different.
Yeah, that culture to me wasn't pervasive in the South at that time.
So was it going to school for journalism and experiencing Southern culture what pushed you in the direction of marketing and party promotion? Because like I said, we got several different things to touch on, but your ambition is pristine. I mean, to have the desire to hustle is one thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The people that do. But to be able to dibble and dabble in different things is what I think I want to focus on with this conversation with you, because you just touched on two things. With I don't know if people peeped it. Like, okay, you went to school for a certain thing. you peep the marketing from how the Texas music scene was, but then at the same time, you mentioned parties.
But see, and this is another thing I didn't mention. I'm always up on technology. So how I started making money was doing MySpace pages, like doing people's graphics for their MySpace page. They was an artist, a singer, whatever. I understood how to do the little code for MySpace, so I understood how important it was to be online, because we came from a generation of like the Soldier Boys,
right?
Like you could get signed from MySpace,
right?
So after the Soldier Boy wave and other people who got known and signed from MySpace, that became a thing. Like I could charge $50, $100 to do somebody's MySpace page. So that let me know it was money. That's the first thing that let me know it was money in knowing how to do marketing.
And then we talking about
MySpace. That was 2008.
I'm about to say like we're getting. I was going to say 5, but you right. 2006, 7. So it was 20 years of it at this point. Though.
Well, I figured out to make money by 2008. You know, we did Facebook. We did. Facebook kind of took over, especially amongst college kids. We thought it was bougie because back then you had to have a college email to get on Facebook. So a lot of us decided, well, now we about to mess with Facebook because it's more exclusive. MySpace fun, right? It's kind of exclusive over here. Like, you know, you get all the college girls on MySpace. I mean, on Facebook as opposed to MySpace. But coming from the DMV, specifically DC, Black Planet was big for us in this area. So I learned how to do the pages, the little code, the IMGSRC, the color code. I learned how to do that from Black Planet. And Black Planet don't get a lot of credit.
Oh, man. Right?
Black Planet was the forefather of all of these social media platforms.
Who created Black Planet?
I don't know. I don't know if it was somebody black.
Dang, I will put a laptop up and look into it.
We're going to look that up.
We got to look that one up.
Who created Black Planet? But Black Planet is the forefather of all of these social media platforms. Straight like that. We were doing all those things. We were messaging, posting our pictures, making statuses, designing our pages on Black Planet.
Okay, so I
and it was just for us. And I just want to, as many times as it happens, but y'all still don't understand, Black people, we create culture. Everything that ends up being $1 billion, $1 million, $1 trillion industry when it comes to music, fashion, anything, art, tech, we create it first.
This is true, people. Factual.
There would not be a MySpace without Black Planet. Without MySpace, Facebook wouldn't be what it was. It started from Black Planet, which was just for Black people.
So you've essentially grown through the technological advancement of the past 15, 20 years, in a sense, from a marketing standpoint, because
absolutely,
I don't think certain people from, like, if you're a certain age, let's say you're 30 or younger, you might not understand like the guerrilla marketing, the flyers, the business cards, the hand-to-hand, the interaction. And that's rapidly becoming old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, going into 2025 is a digital flyer trumps a physical flyer all the time. I mean, now we still in the DMV, so we get go-go flyers when you go to the club, stuff like that. And when you're in certain areas, you're going to get that.
Which I don't agree.
So let's talk about, like, let's get into the weeds of marketing. Why wouldn't you rock with a physical flyer compared to a digital one?
So it's just your conversion rates.
And when you mean conversion rates, what you mean?
That means the ability for the person you actually want to see it, for them to see it, right? So, but it matters in context, right? If you're standing outside a go-go and you're passing out go-go flyers for the next go-go, you're going to get good conversion rates, because these people have came and spent money at this go-go already.
We gonna come to the next one anyway.
So you're familiar with the culture. You might be familiar with the band. So you're gonna have a higher conversion rate versus you putting flyers on cars in the parking lot. Your conversion rate is not gonna be as good because you don't know whose car it is, what they came for, are they a friend of a friend? It's a lot of other variables, right? Versus when you run ads, right? Let's say you run Facebook or Instagram ads, you know exactly who you're trying to target. You're spending the money to target this specific person. They like this specific, they've given their information to the social media platform, telling you this is what I like, this is who I like, this is the type of food, drink, place I like to travel. So when I send you an ad, it's already tailored for you versus me passing you out a flyer.
Right.
Let's say I'm in Southeast and I'm passing out flyers for uptown bands that somebody doesn't want to drive all the way uptown to see. My conversion rate is going to be low because I don't understand
your demographic.
My demographic, my clientele. Versus if you see an ad, the ad was tailored for you. Just like if you click on something now, you're looking at some shoes or glasses, and you feel like them fucking shoes and glasses follow you everywhere. Because that ad was tailored for you. You already gave the information to the platform saying, I like this. And you might even have to type nothing in. When the first ad came up, you stopped and you looked at it for a second. You looked at the price. You might have clicked on it to see, did it have multiple colors? So guess what? That algorithm just made you a warm lead. For all my salespeople, you know what that means. Now you're a lead. So you get graduated to a different step of the algorithm. They're going to show it to you on other platforms. It's going to be a banner ad. My video might pop up because it's reading your behavior.
Speak to the details of now the landscape that people are in, as far as, again, what you're saying is the digital marketing, where it's literally, you know, you can say something on a conversation, or you have a conversation on your phone, and the next thing you know, an ad pops up.
Because we've authorized all these devices. Very few people read the terms of service, and you don't know how much power and authorization you're giving these devices. Like I got like the Apple speakers in my home, right? I know they're always listening because they tell you they're always listening. If I say, "Hey Siri," at any time, all my stuff lights up. That means it's always listening. So who's to say they're like, he said something about cheesecake. He said something about a steak. He sent him some restaurant ads. He talked about, I want some New Balance. Let me send him some New Balance ads. Like,
right.
It's genius for the company that they've convinced you that you need to have these all hearing devices in your home for your convenience, but they're also tools to sell you stuff.
And that's what they're more for, right?
We've given up. I would say, especially within the last 10 years, we've given up our privacy for convenience. We've given our face.
I agree with that.
We gave our face, our fingerprint, code. We gave up everything for access. I want to get in my phone faster. Scan my face.
Still not doing it. I'm still a code guy.
I want to get in my phone faster. Scan my thumbprint. Right? We've given up our privacy for convenience. So I don't even think about like, oh my God, I gave that shit up to you.
Right. And that's interesting. Yeah. You know, like people, when you even think about like nudes, right? Yeah. Like the concept that people don't understand that's going to a server. It's probably somewhere that somebody's navigating all of the traffic.
They can access it. They can say, we have this level of security.
Right.
There's always a person who got the master key.
Right. Exactly.
Somebody has the master key.
The comfortability of people with life being more digital, being more tech focused, you know, it's interesting because when you talk about marketing, like you said, now you go from guerrilla marketing to digital marketing.
Yeah.
So
I would challenge everybody in marketing to still understand the traditional principles of marketing, right? That's why any of my clients I work with, anybody I do business with, I tell them, go get the sales Bible, right?
Sales Bible. Okay.
Like it's a book, the sales Bible. Look at shows like Mad Men, right? They were selling back in the 40s and 50s. The principles are the same. You have to solve a problem.
For somebody.
You have to make someone feel like you have the solution to something that they're going through. Even if you might manufacture the problem, you're still a problem solver. You're still solving some type of pain point, right? That's why it doesn't matter from 1950 to now, certain principles that work, like before and after. Before and after is still one of the the most.
When you say before and after, what you mean?
So everybody's seen an infomercial, right? And you see like a dirty floor. If it's an amazing mop,
I got you.
If it's some type of cookware, it used to take you this long to do it. Now you got this magic thing. Take you less longer. Could be a fancy knife, but it's solving some type of pain point. But they show you the before and after, it's, let's say it's a mop. They're gonna show that person they fake struggling.
Right.
Oh, I got the new whatever mop. Now this shit a breeze. It's saving me time and energy.
Right.
If it's a cookware, oh, this used to take me 24 hours in a slow cooker. Now I could do it.
New frying pan.
I ain't gonna lie. Them air fryer, air fryer infomercials, man, got the shit out of me.
Foreman grill.
What? One of the greatest selling
ever
home appliances ever. Might be the greatest. If we look at
it, from a marketing standpoint, because Foreman, it was so easy. He ain't do nothing.
No, but it was great marketing. Knock out the fat.
So
you see the little drip tray.
The product matters when it comes to marketing.
Absolutely.
I think we just touched on the example where I think the product exceeded the person that was marketing it.
I want to put a cap on this.
Okay, all right, let's go.
That it's important to understand. You need to understand traditional marketing principles, because if you don't understand the psychology of marketing, you don't understand solving people's pain point. You don't understand creating something that the marketplace is missing. It doesn't matter if you can have all the best digital tools in the world. You're still going to fail because you don't understand the psychology of marketing. Human beings haven't changed that much. Technology has changed a lot.
And that's what's altering the space with human beings interacting business-wise.
Yeah, but the human psyche in terms of what makes us want to buy has not changed. It's FOMO. I'm missing out on something. It's trends. I don't want to be outside of the trend, which is, and they're all they're basic, primal needs, like missing out on a trend or FOMO about style or something like that.
So you say, what's FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. That's what FOMO is, people. Fear of missing out.
A FOMO, just damn, everybody going to this show. I don't want to be outside of the group. I need to go to the show.
Social anxiety on us.
Yeah. We still hardwired for groups, because that helped us survive as human beings. We don't want to stand outside of trends. We want to stay with the group. So what was the fashion growing up? It's Nike boots. Everybody getting Nike boots. It's Helly Henson's. We getting whatever it is, right? We want to be a part of the group, because group movements that was tied to our survival. Not so much anymore, but kind of it still is.
It's not. I think it's more based on our existence, not survival.
Yeah,
how we function amongst the group, as far as whether we're popular, we look good.
But see, that matters. So
it does matter.
I think about this when I work with teens, right?
Okay,
someone who doesn't work with teens and children on a regular basis will discount this. They haven't lived the experience of an adult. We have the knowledge down to know that what happened in our teenage years, most of it does not matter. They haven't lived past that exact moment. That exact moment, them getting roasted for having the worst shoes,
it matters.
That's their whole world. They don't know the rest of the world.
It matters.
Them not being able to get the girl because the girl don't think they dress right.
Yeah, that matters.
Them not being able to get into the cool clique because they don't feel cool. It matters. That's their ceiling of understanding at that point. And us as adults, it's man, look, 20 years from now, that girl gonna be fat. Them niggas ain't gonna be on nothing. Like,
No,
instill that,
no.
especially if they come,
When I'm 21, I don't hear none of that.
yeah, especially if they come from a challenging or impoverished environment.
Exactly.
Because we try to pretend like other cultures don't.
We minimize our trauma.
Yeah, and other cultures don't flex their wealth and status. They do. It's just in a different way.
Yeah.
Schools they go to, with nonprofits they're a part of,
the collectivity of their community.
Yeah, the overall net worth of the community.
Right. It matters.
So challenge or inner city youth or at-risk kids, they don't even have the luxury of that. Everybody's in the hood. The only thing that can separate you is a coat, a pair of shoes, some jeans, a car, something trivial to somebody who has been, has graduated from that space or hasn't had to be in that space. Like, they've always had their basic needs met, and everybody has money.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got money. You can wear Birkenstocks and it's okay. You can wear whatever because everybody has money. It's not.
You can start driving a car in high school at 15, 16.
It's not an indicator of your socioeconomic status like it is in the hood. If you got Payless, I got Jordans.
Right.
You got an Old Navy coat, I got an Eddie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That matters.
I got an Averex. You got whatever the fuck you got.
We got a Burlington leather on.
That shit matters.
It matters to us.
Because we can't show our economic status in any other way. So
especially to the people that have oppressed us.
Yeah. So that's why I'm careful about chastising youth about things like that, because that's all that they know. So it's up to us to teach, not chastise, because everybody wants to have some level of ascension, power, influence around them, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to manifest in the hood. That's how it's going to look. Our hood role models, who were the only people really economically gaining, were dope boys. So we're going to mimic that.
They put in some type of illegal work
we're gonna
acquire things that we have affinity for.
But it's still all sales, right? America is the greatest salesman of the world, right? They sell the American dream all over the world,
which is a fallacy, a fantasy. Oh my goodness!
They sell the American dream in the hood. They prop up hood stars, hood rappers. Think about who are the two biggest female rappers of this year.
Glow gotta be one.
Glow and Sexy Red.
I love Glorilla though. I want to see Glorilla win. I mean, I want to see Sexy Red slow the fuck down. But I mean, I'm not knocking her though. I mean, she, who from where we're from our community, we have a cousin or a home girl that's a Sexy Red, just like we have a Glorilla.
But where's the duality? If it's them two and nobody else, who do the other girls look up to?
Right. So I think that's where, from a marketing standpoint, from America, where integration has hindered the Black community, because when you look at, and I say this often on podcasts, I speak towards the quantifiable shift, the change between what our community looked up to in the 60s and post 60s.
If you think about this right now, right, what's marketable or what they think is marketable in the Black community, right?
Now?
Yeah, right now. Like,
it's because
if that's what they feel like is marketable,
it's
what at the end of the day, how does that benefit us economically, socially? Like it'll benefit,
Right. You're absolutely right.
those people and their families, and I want them and their families to make money, get some generational wealth, and break some generational curses.
Well, I got to be on us.
Yeah, but as a group,
from a group standpoint,
it ain't what that is. But what I'm saying is, I recognize how America sells us, and we just talk about marketing and selling. And it was profound when I figured it out. It's like, damn, they're gonna push stereotypes, right? Stereotypes sell because Black trauma sells. That's why every top Black show is trauma. Power is trauma.
And that's why we connect to it.
Yeah, we connect to it.
That's why Black and brown households connect to
it. With Cookie Lyons and Lucius. That was the last other biggest Black show on Fox.
Yeah, you talking about with Terrence Howard and Taraji.
It was a lot of drama, a lot of
Power so big I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, so the BMF stories, we connect to trauma. And America sells Black trauma.
So we're actually going into a part of this conversation where
I didn't even get through the resume part.
With your resume?
Yeah, I didn't even get through that part.
Well, we still going, but we get into this almost might have to be a part 2 because there's a lot to get through. But the power of marketing, and we're talking about right now the power of marketing and how it can control a group of people within a society.
So the first thing that happens when a country is trying to conquer another country, the first 2 things they take over is TV and
media.
Because then they're able to disseminate their own messages, their own
truth. I want y'all to understand what he just said, people.
Or propaganda.
Propaganda and truth are often manipulated to control people.
We're literally going through this right now, y'all. If you're paying attention, Elon Musk chose to buy Twitter for a reason. He laid his plan out.
I'm talking about execution. Yeah. My goodness.
Purchase Twitter, right? In terms of micro blogging and ability to reach people at speed, is the biggest platform in the world. He bought it.
Especially now and moving forward. It's been that way the past 5 years. It'll be that way the next 5 years. So he's been in pocket for a decade in a sense.
Bought it. So
at least.
And then if you look at who owns the major newspapers, right?
Let's go.
If you're in the DMV area, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. If you're in LA, I can't think of the multi-billionaire that owns the LA Times, multi-billionaire. Billionaires and corporations own our media. So they have a power to seed an idea, promote the idea, push the idea, and make it real for the public. Elon Musk was very strategic in buying Twitter and then donating $250 million or so all dollars to the Trump presidency. Now he has a position. He's like a quasi ruler because he understood
of a country that he's not
born in. He's an immigrant too. But it's marketing because he's marketed himself as the engineering genius. Well, he's not necessarily really an engineer. The people who created Tesla, he didn't create Tesla. He bought those people out. The people who created OpenAI, he was on the board. He bought those people out. On SpaceX, he's not designing rockets, people. He's not a rocket scientist.
He's the Quincy Jones of damn near business in a sense. And not to disrespect Quincy Jones, RIP. Yeah. What I'm saying is he didn't make the beat. He didn't sing the song.
More talented than him. And in terms of business, his business is heavily subsidized by our government. So your tax dollars have put him in position. They believe in rugged individualism for everybody else, but they're fine with corporate welfare. They're fine with tax breaks, tax cuts, EV credits, all of the things that prop those businesses up. They're 100% fine with. And I say all that to say he did a masterful marketing job on the American public to where as though like 40% of the country believes he's a real like space engineer. They believe he has their best interest in mind. They believe that he didn't have an agenda by buying Twitter and donating all his money to the Trump campaign. So that's that's a quintessential example of marketing. Like even Trump, I think Trump is not in general, like I don't think he's an intellectual, but Trump is smart and he's
definitely not an intellectual.
He realizes what America is
and who American people are.
He's been putting his name on shit. Like he's been licensing his name when he didn't own stuff. When his money was fucked up, he licensed his name on buildings. People think he owned the building. No, they just put his name on the building.
Getting a check for that.
Yeah, he's every like real business endeavor he ever did, he bankrupted it. It's Trump Steaks, Trump University, Taj Mahal casinos, Trump Airlines. He was investing. The AF, like all of the shit he did, you know, he bankrupted, but he had so much bread to start off with. You know, his dad left him like 200 million.
Right.
So if you got that type of head,
I mean, you playing Monopoly at that point.
You can fuck a lot of shit off.
But hold on. But you're touching on something. I don't want to digress too much into politics.
Yeah.
But you're speaking on the range of marketing from the standpoint of what we know now.
They won by marketing. What I will give the right wing credit in doing. They built a right wing ecosystem of communication, starting at the top with like a Joe Rogan, on down to Candace Owens, Turning Point USA, the Daily Wire. All of these, they build a whole right wing ecosystem to where if they get you in the rabbit hole, they got so much shit for you to learn and talk, and so you get indoctrinized really fast.
Right? So real quick, right?
Well, we didn't, and on the radical left or something, we don't have that same ecosystem, right? Like it's literally people who think they know everything and don't know shit because they've been in a right wing ecosystem with so much misinformation and misdirection. They put the time in to think they're informed, but they just are informed by false shit. So they're just misinformed. But they were in the right place. They were like,
most Americans are,
but they learn a bunch of bullshit.
So 19 Keys said something, right? He was speaking. Shout out to EYL. Shout out to Shad. Shout out to Red Panda.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to EYL. People be hating on them. I fuck with them.
Them brothers on it. So I'm gonna always give them a shout out with any voice I have. 19 Keys says something though. Just to kind of put a cap on the political piece. About people voting independent to register their vote. Because there was so many people that didn't vote, right? So if you vote independent and don't pick a party, you register your vote, but you also can express your displeasure, you know, whatever negative feelings you have towards the American political process, which makes sense, right? Like we need the votes there, but at the same time, the options for Democrat, Republican aren't sufficient for people anymore. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean,
it's interesting when you look at, again, we're discussing marketing, so it's like it's wild how you look at America. Like we're having a conversation about marketing, and it got into politics.
Because America is one big marketing scheme. I'm gonna say this one more time. Put the main camera on.
Put the camera on, my guy.
Put the main camera on this. This is very important. The America that our grandparents and even our parents grew up in is no longer. The gap, the racial wealth gap, the average working class citizen versus your millionaire or billionaire your working, every indication is that our society is separating. I believe we've entered into the new gilded age. Like we have a cabinet of all billionaires, and we're gonna probably have our first trillionaire this year or next year. And these people are gonna own 60% to 70% more wealth than the rest, the bottom half of the rest of the country. But they've marketed their way into this position. They've been marketing Donald Trump as the man of the people, even though he has no connection to a working class person. He's literally born on third base and thought he hit a triple. You know,
he was born on third base and stole home.
He's marketing, he's marketing himself as a man of the people. The Elon Musk of the world, they market themselves as engineering Marvel genius. So America is one big. They market you, come over here, have a better life. They don't work you to death, tax the shit out of you.
Right.
It's a big marketing scheme, but it looks great. It feels great at times, but I realized like America is like, well, America is like the vacation from the real world, but a bad vacation at this point. Because when you travel to other countries, when you move around, you start getting perspective of how hard we work, but how little we participate in the gains. Shout out to everybody right now that feels it, right? You feel like you're working harder than ever, putting in more hours, you making more connections, you doing more networking, you're doing more.
You're working hard.
You're working harder than you've ever worked in your life, but it feels like your life isn't the same as it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
It's decreasing.
Yeah.
Rapidly.
Where is your labor going? And if we really pay attention, we see where our labor, that energy, the money, the products, where it's being siphoned off to.
So it's very easy to see and pay attention to your effort, your energy, your focus into the collectivity of the greater society, especially with the Black and African American group.
Yeah.
You're an activist at this point. How did you get here from starting with marketing? How did you get to a point to where you desire to fight for your community? How you desire to fight back against corporate disrespect with the recent and pizza campaign where they did that wild Marion Barry stuff.
Shoot, even earlier this year with the Stop the Move campaign. That was a little bit bigger even than the Marion Barry thing, because like people, and this gives,
and elaborate on both because people might not know.
So I feel like I've always had a sense of consciousness. It was installed to me from my family, and then me reading and learning as a young adult that what my place is in this world, what do I mean to this world as a Black man, where I have to show up, where I have to volunteer my time. If I say I care about my community, these are the things I just have to do, right? There's no negotiation with it. The first win of the year was Stop the Move, because we were going up against a billionaire. Shout out to Ted Leonsis, the owner of the Washington Wizards, the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, that's right.
They had a thing where they wanted to move the stadium from DC to Northern Virginia. And it affected so many pieces in our community that the average part of the public didn't understand. Number one, Sycamore Oak, shout out to Ward 8. That's where the arena is over there where the Mystics play. So they were talking about, well,
shout out to Sycamore Oak.
They moved that arena. They're going to move the Mystics downtown. So where's that going to leave that arena that they made
all
a lot
that
of
space,
promises, a lot of deals
on the south side of
the south side, that where my friends are over there. right? Shout out to the museum, Love More, We Fit DC, Keema's Art, all of those folks over there. Shout out to them. They made a lot of promises. I've been in meetings where they made promises how they're gonna, participate economically in those areas. So if we let them move the arena, I know they're gonna renege on all of those promises that they made to those areas. Not to mention all the low wage, minimum wage workers that work at the stadium that live in DC that benefit from that. And two, like they were trying to paint DC residents as the reason that they were moving, even though it was a purely economic reason.
Solely economic.
Yeah, crime was up at that point a little bit.
That has nothing to do with the stadium.
Had nothing to do with them moving a stadium or not.
Nothing.
So them trying to villainize and weaponize people in the area, to say, hey man, crime's got so bad, we just gotta go. Like some of those narratives were put out there. And when I actually met and talked to Ted Leonsis, I'm gonna take him at his word that that's not, what he was on.
So you actually met him? You met his son?
I met him. I met Ted. Shout out to my partner Ron.
Shout out to Ron Moten.
He's had several sit down
doing amazing work in the community.
Meetings with Ted. And I don't think he's a bad guy, but I also think he's a capitalist. And you can't always trust a capitalist to have your interests in mind, because if he's
operating off that bottom line.
He has his own business and bottom line in mind. So, and I'm going to take that for what that is. So us being able to get that win, let me know people power makes a difference, because you know how many messages I got, Hunter, that, oh man, y'all wasting y'all time. Why is he going to listen to you? Why is he going to listen to this coalition y'all built? Why? All of the reasons why it can't happen.
Right.
But then when it happened,
everybody on the bandwagon.
No, it was silence.
So people spoke against even
most of the
putting the effort forth.
Yeah, most of the people who spoke against it did not say anything to congratulate. Like, hey, matter of fact, shout out to Trip Simpson. He was the one that hit me first.
Trip.
Yeah, he's like,
what's good, Slim?
I got it done. I was wrong.
The funniest black Republican I ever heard in my
MAGA. Shout out to MAGA Trip. He hit me. He was like, yeah, I ain't think that shit was gonna happen. But you know what I'm saying? MAGA Trip wasn't on board. But that showed me that coalitions still matter, people power still matter. And if you don't just roll over, people power will always win over business interests. Right? So by the time the Ampisa thing came around, I'm like, I wish some people could be in the room with the coalition and be like, the conversation was basically, they don't even know if they just stepped into.
So first of all,
that's what they didn't realize. They don't realize DC is still one of the places where black people can organize and
right. We can shut shit down here,
because we gave Peace an opportunity when the widow, shout out to Cora Massaberry, expressed her displeasure for that. Like, I know Cora.
Shout out to the Berry family. Shout out to Marion Berry.
I know them.
R.P. Marion Berry. Shout out to his legacy.
So it's like, you chose to play with the legacy of one of the most prominent DC people ever.
Black DC people ever.
I don't even put black on it.
But it matters though.
He's ever, like, black or white.
Right. This is true.
So we knew as a coalition what this was about to be, right? Because you played with one of the greatest that ever came from us. And we gave them an opportunity to be like, hey, you probably want to reverse course. They gave us we'll give you here's our ass to kiss, essentially. It was very tone deaf. It was very disrespectful. But I will say, we did meet with them. We got resolutions from them. So shout out to Pizza. They made it right. But
well, hold on. Let me stop right there, right? Because some people that might see this might not understand what Ann Pizza did that was disrespectful from the perspective of Washingtonians and people from the DMV.
So they brought out a product called the Marionberry Knots. And on that alone, if they would have just not did the type of marketing campaign that they did around it, they would have been fine. They had the opportunity to pay homage.
So
but they chose.
I'm glad we talking about this because this is going to tie into marketing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is an example of poor marketing decisions. Like absolutely not reading your room, not understanding your region, your product
at all.
Any of those things. Like you're playing with a man who has a statue in front of the Wilson building, streets named after him.
First of all, he's one of the only people outside of presidents with a statue in the nation's capital, period.
And not a little statue, a big fucking statue.
Period.
So their thing was they hired an outside marketing firm that was supposed to be edgy. They wanted to do edgy.
Outside marketing firm, huh?
Yeah,
from where?
I think it was like from Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, they definitely weren't.
That's why they fucked up.
So,
pardon my French.
Their rebrand was supposed to be, cool, edgy. So somebody had a bright idea to, because Marion berry is a real berry. It's a real fruit,
right?
That is consumable. You can put it in products. They make it into pastries. So they had an idea. Well, it's DC, Marion berry. Let's make a play on words. But then it got disrespectful with the campaign. Mm-hmm. So it was marketed as like cocaine. Like
the powdered sugar.
Yeah, the powdered sugar was marketed as cocaine. It was like, oh, it'll give you an amazing bump.
Like so the play on words.
It should be criminal. These are so
the
good.
Play on words that Ann Pizza used for the Marionberry Knots was extremely disrespectful. It was intentional. It was very focused on locking in on DC
and the
Marionberry and his
had experience
and his pitfall
that he had bounced back from. But even the tone deafness of marketing, where this is not a adults only restaurant. Kids come to this restaurant on a regular basis. Right. High school kids, junior high school kids,
especially we talking about in the city.
Flood and pizza.
Come on, man.
So
pick up a pizza from Ann Pizza, like it's very quick if you understand how the Ann Pizza model works. A kid is in DC doesn't have metro for
students
for buses for kids
location.
Come on,
all
man.
Day, every day.
Kids can go to an Ann Pizza in the city like it ain't nothing.
Yeah, and so just that on his face was super disrespectful, and their messaging was super tone deaf. They had to atone for that, make different concessions. I mean, you guys can look up like the things that we made sure they did as a company to rectify that situation. But it was important to let corporations know that, especially in the Washington, D.C. area, you don't disrespect legacy people here. You just don't. We still run the city.
It is what it is.
To the point where if y'all notice, something about DC ends up in every national discussion. We're going through the debt ceiling crisis right now. One of the things that Elon Musk mentioned, which is also misinformation, that $2 billion were going to create a new stadium, which would be moving the Commanders back to DC, RFK at DC. That is completely false.
Absolutely.
What actually happened, they just transferred the land to the DC government, so we were able to develop the land as we see fit. There was no money exchange. But if you notice, even Trump in multiple debates, he mentioned Mario Bowser, because these white supremacist leaders are so ticked off that the people in DC some are able to govern ourselves, and we have a lot of Black leadership, and we're able to govern ourselves. It bothers them because we should have had statehood by now, but it bothers them.
Well, that's another conversation as far as statehood, but to stay on the marketing train,
yeah,
pay attention to how it impacts everything. So, how does a guy that comes from the city, comes from DC, goes to Houston, gets his education, makes his bones in marketing? Again, we're not going to minimize the activism because that's something that's a growing effort. But hold on. I want to highlight some other things too, because you also are great at photography. You're also great at party promotion. Like, how in the hell do you become a part of a collective like Henny and Waffles, where you're creating this party experience, city to city, that people just can love?
Man, shout out to Henny and Waffles, shout out to Charles, shout out to KJ. We had an amazing run. With that event, we eventually changed it to Waffles and Cocktails and had another run. DC is the forefront of brunch. So basically, we took that brunch party experience all around the country. We got really big with CIAA in Charlotte. Shout out to Oak Room and Slate. I think they've been torn down by now, but we really grew. Shout out to the vision of my guys pushing that. But it also taught me, like, man, I've done probably 50 parties in 50 different cities. Legit 30 cities, 2 countries, couple continents, right? And I think the biggest thing I take away from that is understanding what a market needs, understanding what people need in that market. Don't try to bring something there that they already have. Bring them something different. Because ultimately, our business model ended up being, we follow large urban events. So it's like, I've been to LA a lot because the Super Bowl has been there. All-Star Weekend has been there. I've been to Charlotte because CIAA is there. Been to Miami because Art Basel is there. I've been to Toronto, Caravana is there. Been to Austin, South by Southwest is there. Right? That's
where the baby broke and had that pamp on. Shout out to the baby.
It's easier to plan events around large mass moves of people that are already going there versus you got to spend a lot more money to build in a market that you're not there, because people have loyalty to the people that are already there. Like, we've done Detroit, right? For example.
Interesting city. When did y'all go?
Shout out to 51. I think it was 5150.
Detroit got some beautiful women too.
They do.
As far as like in America,
they wild,
some of the bad. I'm talking about bad.
Oh, I had a great time in Detroit. Like a Nashville, right? These smaller markets. If you bring a product like a lit brunch and day party before they have it, it's a novelty you can win with. But at a certain time, everybody started catching up. At a certain time, everybody caught up with DC and New York. It used to be DC and New York brunch capital. That's what we do. We go on brunch all day. Brunch day party, that's our shit. Saturday and Sunday. Now any little town you're gonna find somewhere that got a little whack ass brunch. The concept of brunch has been proliferated. When we started, that was not a thing. New York, DC.
How does that impact your business model?
You have to shift. Like, there's very few business models last forever, right?
It's how much you can. It's about how you can cash in on it.
Yeah, like, think about it. MySpace was the biggest. Went out of Black Planet, not around no more. So a lot of things that we thought were institutions are not around no more. But the things that are around, like Meta, Facebook is around because they looked around. When Instagram was about to be the biggest, they went and bought it.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody really started traveling, everybody on WhatsApp, they went and bought it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of a company that morphed and stayed ahead of the trends. MySpace is an example that held on too long. Yahoo is an example, held on too long. Blockbuster held on too long. So not only do you have to have
I remember
marketing,
You remember Redbox?
yeah, right. But
They had a mean run, like a DVD run.
Netflix owes a lot of its success to Redbox.
That's what they built off of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember Redbox. I'm talking about you used to go to the
7-Eleven.
They had a fucking 7-Eleven vending machine in front of the 7-Eleven. You can get any DVD you want.
The game.
What?
Tell niggas start.
That was where Netflix and chill really started.
Niggas start figuring out how to scam that joint. Though it'd be
right.
This start being blank this getting that joint. Like damn. Niggas done fucked it up.
Niggas put a Madden game, a whole Madden game in that joint.
In there. You ain't getting that movie you thought you was gonna get.
Yeah, that movie gonna be in somebody home. Home.
Nah, they start figuring out how to program the blank disc. Shit was over.
Oh man. But think about like the transition from marketing. You just mentioned like Blockbuster was like
the biggest,
like the biggest, like
Blockbuster had
movies and tapes, and then you go to
with Netflix,
right? And then you go to a Redbox with a DVD style of content, and you can rent this joint $1 a day.
Some
saying?
Businesses aren't meant forever. You got to know when to cash out, right? Like all of the original like big companies have been bought out, like YouTube. Google bought YouTube, right?
That's on a bigger scale. Yeah. So let's go to for example, right? For a guy like you that just made his bones in marketing, party promotion, activism, even photography. How do you diversify on the fly? and stay above, keep your head above water.
It's just adapting, because my goal is to live life on my own terms. So how do I get to do that, right? What business decisions or things I have to make to like not really want to work a 9 to 5, or if I do, work for a company or corporation, it's on the terms that I want to be on. You have to develop some type of talent that's valuable in the marketplace. Before I knew photography, I knew social media. Before I knew social media, I knew MySpace code. Before I knew that, I knew how to organize people. Now I just put all those skills together. I still know how to organize people, still know some code. I definitely know ads. I'm not afraid to do a party anywhere in the world, because it's two things I understand. I understand how to find my target demographic that's related to the product or service I'm selling. And I know how to run paid advertising to reach that individual.
So let's touch on that.
Elaborate the levels of success. But parties, you can, if you understand your clientele, who you're trying to sell to, whether they're a weekly customer, a monthly customer, a yearly customer, whether they're what's their age group, what's their night they want to go out, their emotional leanings. If you understand these things, you can always have a successful event. So I've had at least one successful event for the last 15 years because I understand demographics.
And that matters so much. I mean,
but that's for everybody.
That's anybody.
That's anybody, any business. Every business is not for everybody. There's no one product that is for everyone.
Right.
Where's my maker? There's no one product that's for everyone. There is no one product. If you're able to understand your customer, you understand the demographics, you understand where they are, where they shop, what they like to eat, what they like to do, you can be successful because you can tailor a product to them.
So talk to me about throwing a mean party.
It's that. So
People want to do it.
from
People want to go to it. How do you throw a mean party?
this, hey y'all, this where my main camera. This is how you throw a mean party.
Mm-hmm.
Understand who is coming to your party. That's number one. Like right now, currently 2024 December, Black women rule Washington, D.C. Right?
That's
Black
nothing
women
new.
from all parts of the world
Mm-hmm.
and the country. They're here. They're spending money. They rule the nightlife, so to speak, right? They come out in groups. Like you don't see men coming out in groups anymore. We roll solo, ones, twos, maybe. Right? That's a factor of the economy, jobs, population. It's a lot of factors, right?
Okay.
But me understanding what's the demographics of my city and what I want to do, my events are going to be catered to Black women from the ages of 25 to 45. Sometimes even more niche depending on the event. Let's say I'm live music, it's going to be 30 to 50. Right? I know the customer I want to serve. So once I understand the customer, I can build what they call a customer avatar or profile. What do they like to eat? What do they like to drink? What do they like to listen to? Where do they want to be? And then you get even more specific. Like, I like soul events. So what does the Black woman that's the age of 30 to 45 like in her live music soul events? So once I understand that, I can plan that event based upon that person. So when that person comes in a building, they just feel the vibes. That's the only word they have. Man, this shit was lit. Or man, I felt the vibe. But not understanding this whole experience was curated behind the scenes. What type of DJ that was picked, what type of drink specials it was, how the lighting looks, who's the host, who's the band. All of these things are curated. Even the other type of women that are marketed to. Because if you're a certain way and you get into a place that everybody else is a different way, you'll feel uncomfortable. But if you get into a space where everyone is like you listen to common music, you're dressed kind of alike, you got certain symbols on your clothing, body, tattoos. You're like, oh man, I got my tribe, I got my vibe there. But it's all manufactured. It's all manufactured for your experience. And that's not even a bad thing. It's really
it's definitely not a bad thing.
It's understanding who you want to serve and serving them to the best of your ability. That's how you create repeat customers. That's how you create loyal customers. People who are going to evangelize your brand. Like I've been
your brand.
I've been throwing parties for some people for 10 plus years, celebrating their birthdays from 25 to 35, 35 to 45. Some people 45 to 55 because they trust me to curate an experience for them that fits them. They don't have to be anything different. They can come in there and be themselves. From travel to live music to all of the type of entertainment events that I do, it's customer focus first. Like, and I'm a little selfish. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. I do shit that I like.
Right.
First, I'll look in the marketplace and say, hey, damn, I wish where's this at? It's not there. I'll do the shit real quick. Like, I can put it together and make it happen. But even me, I build a profile of myself. What does the 40-year-old man, no kids, what does he want to be around? What type of women want to be around him? What type of atmosphere does he want? Smoking, non-smoking. Food, does it need vegan options? Does it need whatever, right? You build that profile of the person that you're trying to serve. So if I build an event around me, I know how to serve me and the men around me. I know how to serve them. So I'm going to curate that experience that makes sense to them, not what I just think makes sense.
Right. Because one would think that's a simple logic, but the way you break it down, it makes it way more strategic. It makes it way more focused to where it's like, okay, regardless of what I'm marketing, I'm going to market it a certain way.
Yeah, because you can, like the old saying, like you have the best mousetrap in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody's getting your product. You can have a shitty product, just market it well. And you're gonna make a lot of money because so many people know about it, and you've tapped into a psychological need or want of this person. It's like bottle service in DC, right? Or bottle service in general is a phenomenon.
Bottle service. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about it. It's a phenomenon, but it's a psychological phenomenon.
Right. It really is.
Everybody knows you can get the same bottle for $50 that you pay $200 for, right?
Right.
$100 for it may cost you $1,000, right? But the psychology of it is projecting your wealth and status. Number one, right? That's the first thing. Like if a woman comes in any lounge or club, because the majority is men buying bottles first. You're projecting wealth and status.
Right.
Just like if you was a fucking peacock with feathers, whatever, right? That's
I often say it's the peacock theory, not to cut you off.
Oh no, in fact, 100%.
But the male peacock shows his feathers. A lot of people don't know that beautiful peacock you see, that bird. That's the male trying to get the female.
Yeah, it's getting fresh to get the women. You know, we animals too. But two, it's also I'm trying to think of the term. Like it undemocratized the party environment. Because you could be a cool dude, you ain't have to be rich, or you ain't have to come out. You can want to come out, maybe spend $100, but you could pull women at the bar. You can pull women off the dance floor. You can pull women, but now it's like the club is going to maximize what they get from you, and if you have resources, you can control this environment a lot better than you could maybe 10, 15 years ago. If you think about it, when we were going to Dream and Love. If we think about our experiences, we don't even know where those sections, because they had one or two sections on every floor. Like you had to be like an ultra celebrity, being like Diddy or somebody.
Right.
You had to be super famous to be in that joint. On a rooftop, they had like 3-4 sections.
And you would often see celebrities in that joint.
You gotta be you're a celebrity if you're in that, right? But now you just have to have resources, and you can control the spot, democratize the spot, like hold it down. Just you could be corny as fuck, lame as fuck, and you can hold it down just because you got the resources. Like I've seen it when I didn't even have the resources. I just had access. Like it could be my party. I ain't spend a dime,
right?
And have bottles and women. They like, oh yeah, these the niggas. We about to. It ain't even that, but the perception is so much of. The person with the resources controls the thing, just like now. Like in this country, the person with the richest man in the country is controlling our country. That's where we are. I think that's where we are as Americans, and we've been marketed that like rich people are the smartest, rich people work the hardest. We're marketed that, and that's not always the case. 60% of rich people who are rich, the wealth was passed down to them.
But do people understand?
No.
Never mind generational wealth, right? But marketing from the standpoint of what's true versus what's being sold.
This presidential election showed us they don't know, because 90% of the shit, besides tax cuts for the rich, they're not going to deliver on. But they're not going to deliver that. The marketing campaign was so strong on the right. It's people that I seen like, oh man, I think Candace Owens is cool. I think Ben Shapiro is cool. Man, they be right about what? But it's so marketing in shorts, sound bites.
Right.
Like we're in the sound bite era. Like you don't have to read a book anymore.
You should read a book, but it's the way that people process information.
Yeah.
That, I mean, when you talk about shorthand to a negative extent, That's the day and age we live in.
I feel like people like you're weird if you like read whole books,
right?
Like,
or are studious enough to the point that where you investigate and put some critical analysis to something. Like,
where's
it's wild.
Look, if you don't own any books in your house, I don't trust you. For that 100%. I don't trust you to give me no advice. I don't trust you. Give me any definitely no advice. I don't know if I know I want to hang
a valid opinion.
If you don't own books. Right? We're in the era of people who don't own books, don't read books, have the loudest, biggest, craziest platforms, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Kind of is what it is, man. I mean,
but I don't think we should leave it as a is what it is thing. I think we really have to fight because we're entering in an era of anti-intellectualism.
We are, but we've been there though. But in America, we've been there
on steroids now, where they're talking about like banning books. Like,
but they're doing that. That's happening, trying to fight the information and technological age that we're in. So you can try to fight it now. You're not fighting baby boomers.
But I think that's why you got to keep the books, because they can just go online and start erasing stuff.
Well, they're doing it physically too.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, they're doing it physically.
You can't physically erase it. You got to really throw away a book or burn it, right?
Right, but in Florida, they're burning books.
You can delete a hard drive. You have to physically burn a book. So
that's been happening for centuries, though.
I'm talking about what's happening in America right now. The wave of anti-intellectualism, where we will listen to a soundbite and we don't even know the mechanism of doing the research to figure out if that's true or not. Most people don't even know. Like, how? If I just trust this person, I just trust this person. I'm just gonna.
Right. You really rock with who you rock with as a person.
So people get caught up in ecosystems and echo chambers where they just bouncing these ideas back and forth for all day.
Right.
And at a certain point in this country, it's always been kind of fucked up. But at a certain point, we knew things that were objectively true. Like, I don't care. You could be mad that it's true. Mm-hmm. You can acknowledge that it's true.
Black people were 3/5 of a person in America for a century.
At least we could objectively acknowledge that it's fucked up. Like, hey, this is fucked
that's up. Centuries later, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand what I'm saying? But I think that capitalism will be the downfall of America.
I think we're past capitalism now.
It's an inhumane system. It's an inhumane caste system with white superiority and supremacy at the top, to where it's at a point where.
And this is my bar of capitalism.
Hold on. I'll say this. It's at a point where you have no options if you are black, or if you're of the Black African American group. There has to be pushback, fight towards the system, period.
Our system are captured right now. Like, if you're in media, it's like 5 to 6 people that control all of the countries. I mean, all of the televisions, all of the information. It's 5 to 6 companies that control all of the food production. Mm-hmm. It's 5 to 6 companies that control everything, right? And I think we've entered the age of, I think we're in the Gilded Age right now, and we're fully in oligarchy, because I think we're going to see a trillionaire before we see minimum wage federally over $20. So someone was able to get $1 trillion.
That's interesting.
Before we could get the minimum wage across the board over $20. That means, as a country, our production has been going up and up and up and up and up. As a worker, we've been working harder, longer hours, better technology. We've been working.
Hey Zed, we might have to stop the episode off of that. Like that's
someone like Elon Bezos, one of them guys, is going to become a trillionaire before the federal minimum wage gets over $20. So, which means our wages have been this stagnant. And profits are on a tie to a fucking SpaceX rocket. I'm just gonna keep talking because I'm here by myself. It's all good. Put the main camera on me. Because that's very profound. That trillionaire before the minimum wage reaches over $20. That's peasantry. That's serfdom. That's it's crazy. I don't think we.
Oh shit! Y'all cut it?
I know everything's off and stop. I don't know if we're officially off, but if it's going by that screen, I think everything stopped.
It stopped by itself?
Yeah, he didn't do nothing.
It's still going.
Oh, it's still going?
Yeah, he left. He just went to the bathroom.
He went to the bathroom.
So I'm not going. If I restart it, he gonna edit it. If I restart it, we would have to set it up all over again.
Oh no, we still good to go.
But
I think
y'all got like 15 more minutes because I got to do that other podcast. But y'all an hour and 30 minutes.
I'm good.
It don't even seem like y'all an hour and 30 minutes.
And we was having a pretty decent conversation.
It's like I'm multitasking. Normally I'm locked in right here,
Yeah.
but I got so much going on, and I knew that was gonna happen. But he squeezed it. He wanted to squeeze it in. I was like, man, I ain't gonna. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you on that, brother. I think when he comes back, we could just do like our final thoughts on the topics. And I think that'll work out. See, that's why I like to go live. Like when I do my podcast stream, y'all, I'm on it. I go live on Facebook, live on Instagram,
to everywhere.
I'm going live. You gonna get some shit off. You definitely gonna get some shit off.
Man, that's like you gotta cut that joint off, man.
We just gonna edit keep rolling. We can edit it out.
Yeah, edit that joint off. You gotta cut that joint off of that.
No, y'all sure he said he wanted to do a few more points at the end, so we're gonna let it run.
I think we should just do like put a wrap on it, like do final thoughts. He said we like an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
That's cool.
Ready? Boom. It's like
back up, start up.
James, what you call your podcast?
Cool Conversations.
Shout out to Cool Conversations, man. It's Cosby Digital in the building. I'm with my man Cool Hunter. We had a very cool conversation today. We covered a lot of topics. We covered marketing, but how really America is one big marketing scheme in 2024, 2025. It's almost like MLM because they want everything to trickle down. We're going to give the money to the richest people. It's going to trickle down to us. So shout out to America being that in 2025. I appreciate Hunter for inviting me onto the show and letting me talk about my my businesses, my past in marketing and promoting, party planning. We're gonna need a part 2 because we didn't really get into the stories like that. We really started getting into core issues in America because once again, America is one big marketing plan.
We have several more things to touch on. Like we didn't really get into the true origin of your story, certain aspects of activism. We touched on marketing real good. You know what I'm saying? We had a real good marketing conversation, but it can go in several other areas. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, as far as where your hustles are. But to me, when you really look at where things are going into 2025, from the activism, from the, you know, just the presence in the community standpoint, that's more important than anything to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes conversations take the life of what's going on in life and times, and we're dealing with a lot right now as Washingtonians, as Black men living in America, right? In terms of the economy, in terms of access to funding, in terms of access to business, in terms of access to voting, and us really being heard as Black people in America. So those issues sometimes take precedence, and I think that was one of the themes of our interview. Like, how do we even navigate marketing through the current climate? So I think it was still a good conversation that people are gonna find value in.
No, they will. Definitely part 2 coming to this one, because we got a lot more to touch on. Like I said, we got all types of travel business to touch on.
Oh yeah, shout out to Jungle Juice. I ain't even tell y'all about Jungle Juice. The first, I'm just gonna say the first, and I don't know anybody else that does it. The first African American led and owned travel business that was servicing the Tulum area, in terms of us traveling from the US, coming down to Tulum, throwing parties on a regular basis. There were other people there. Shout out to Black in Tulum. Shout out to Black Zama. Those are my people I work with. Both of those groups, they're great, you know, especially Black in Tulum, a Black woman-owned business that's done 7 figures in business.
Let's go
down there in Tulum.
Let's go.
Shout out to her. But like us coming from the States, bringing people down to Cenote, we the first. We the first ones.
I'm talking about
pat myself on the back. Look that up. JungleJuice.Tulum, JungleJuice.com, Jungle Juice Global. It's a party for the diaspora. We were definitely the first party to do the diaspora. I definitely seen a whole lot of R&B, soul diaspora parties after we started. Shout out to Eric.
International parties. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's be honest.
We passport partying.
Passport partying, man. Let's be honest. Man, this is a hell of a combo, man. Like, it's several more things I want to touch on. So I'll definitely have to circle back around and have you back on the couch.
I'll be back next week. Shout out to Cool Conversations, man. We doing this.
Yeah. This was an easy one. This was a good one. My guy Cohen Cosby III, better known as Cosby Digital.
The Digital.
Taught me all my marketing chops, you know what I'm saying, on social media and just marketing business wise.
That's good to know, bro. I didn't think I taught you anything.
You did, though. You did. You definitely did. You absolutely did. I think, you know, like with us, you know, kind of just marketing and promoting Fog Hill, I really learned a lot about simple levels of marketing as far as being consistent with what you actually market, whatever your product is. That's why you'll see a clip from me every other day, generally speaking. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, let's step it up every day.
Every day.
I need something every day.
Yeah, I had a good run last week.
Yeah, look, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
You know what I'm saying? But it really matters when somebody can breathe on you and share and give game from their level of expertise in an area where you're not familiar with. And that's why I got so much love for you, bro.
I appreciate that.
Because I know I'm hustling better on social media because of you. So I got to give you that credit.
Hey, man, I received that, and you know, I got love for you. So if anything I was able to impart, jewels and information I was able to impart on you that you use for your business, man, that's what we doing. That's what it's for.
Absolutely. All right, we got to make a part 2 to this one, man.
Whew. Shout out to the whole Cool Conversations audience. We'll see you next week. You do next week?
Absolutely.
If not, we're gonna see you next week. Let's go.
Next week or the next week or the next week, man. Much love. We gone. Out.